Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing and taking a look at a heavily requested situation that went extremely and ridiculously viral on social media here in the United States. Shame on the Vanguard School in Colorado for this moment right here. Contrary to what you might think upon seeing this video, it hasn't really caused that much controversy, actually, as what you may think. You know, a very good portion of people who've actually seen this video have, thankfully, defended this kid in the situation. They've even got the Democrat governor of the state calling them out at the moment. I'm going to read you a quote here from him later in the video. I didn't really expect this from Jared Polis of all people, because, you know, he's an anti-gunner and whatnot. He's not the sort of person that you would generally associate with like pro-1776 mentality. You know, he's anti-gun, he's pro-critical race theory, pro-1619 project and whatnot. He is a fairly classic, you know, example of like a neoliberal. Even he himself has this kid's back after this moment. And me personally, I can also only really defend this kid in this situation. I mean, like, look, this kid, like, he very clearly really did nothing wrong here. I mean, it's kind of like a very fucking sorrow situation that we've gotten to this point in this country, in American society, Western society, when you really think about it, where not only it is like, you know, like a thought crime to express yourself freely and to actually use your First Amendment rights, like what we've seen with these big tech sites numerous times, not just in the real world, but also that we've gotten to a point in this country that people in the educational apparatuses are so inept and are so unaware and so oblivious of the history of the country that has allowed them to even goddamn fucking exist to begin with, that they don't even recognize the Gadsden Flag, or even know its true meaning. Like, this kid right here clearly knows more about US history, apparently, than some US history teachers in this country for his age. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Gadsden Flag is, because obviously not everybody who watches this or are subscribed are from the United States, I don't really expect everybody to immediately and instantaneously know what I'm talking about when I say the Gadsden Flag. Now, if you live in the United States, you probably already know what it is. You've probably seen this flag before thousands of times, but don't really know the name of it or don't know what it is. Some of you probably don't know it by the name of the Gadsden Flag. It is more commonly known as the Don't Tread on Me flag, or the No Step on Sneck flag if you're a Country Balls fan. The Gadsden Flag, or Don't Tread on Me flag, is the big yellow flag that you see every now and again in this country, with like a big rattlesnake on it, all rolled up, and it has the words Don't Tread on Me written on it. And this flag has been a symbol of like libertarianism, American freedom, and independence, and liberty for like literally centuries, literally since the nation's founding. I mean, this flag has its roots in the Revolutionary War history of the United States. It's a symbol of patriotism. It's a symbol of freedom. It's a symbol of independence. It's a symbol of libertarianism as well, as opposed to like the authoritarianism that this video is portraying. Like, literally, this incident is proving the flag's fucking point when you really think about it. So unfortunately, a few days ago, this kid named Jaden, 12 years old, goes to a school, Vanguard School in Colorado, and he was harassed by the school officials for wearing a patch of this flag on his book bag. And apparently, the school complained, mostly the pink and blue-haired people running the school probably, and there's a link in the description to the full story if you want to go and check it out yourself. I'm not going to archive it so you can see the actual video in full, uninterrupted, and we're actually going to be playing this video here in this video and reacting to it together, you know, giving my analysis and my commentary on it, because it's just so mind-bogglingly fucking idiotic. The school complained about his patch because it was deemed offensive. And now people of very certain small, I would I guess, say, vocal minority of people, the leftoids online, have actually agreed with the school's decision and have actually defended the school's action by saying that, oh, this flag's racist, this flag is offensive, this flag shouldn't be flown, it's a symbol of slavery, it's a symbol of white supremacy, only Nazis fly that flag. I mean, look at the types of people who fly it. It was flown on January 6th. Oh my god, Nazis flew this flag in Charlottesville. You know, 1% of the people who fly the flag maybe are bad people, so you can't fly it anymore. It has been deemed as a hate symbol by the ADL. Obviously, this is just mentally is fucking moronic. The flag is in no way considered offensive. If anything, the Gadsden flag is one of the most iconic and most symbolic historical representations of liberty and freedom that the world has literally ever goddamn seen. I mean, there are people that still fly this flag to this day on their cars, on their pickup trucks, on their properties. They hang it up in their living rooms. I have one hung up in my room and I'm damn proud of it. There are even some states in the union that allow you to get a Don't Tread on Me license plate for your cars. Like here in Florida, you can get a Don't Tread on Me license plate if you want to. We even have like our own Florida edition with an alligator instead of a snake to, you know, show off some of that Florida pride of yours. That's how entrenched into American society the Gadsden flag is. And again, me personally, this is by far one of my favorite flags of all time. Again, I have one hanging in my room, not just because of its history, not just because I'm a flag geek myself, but because of the message that it entails and continues to do so to this very day. I mean, here in our modern society, right? Here in modern present-day United States, me as a libertarian, a nationalist libertarianism to be more specific, we still to this day have to feel as if the government are not our friends, as if the people who are supposed to protect us and serve us, the people, are treading on our individual rights and are continuing to abuse our constitutional liberties. And with this new COVID variant now making resurgence, who's to say that they'll lock everything down and shut the economy down again and make us wear masks again? God forbid that happens again. The Patriot Act, going after our guns and whatnot. I mean, I can literally list a whole bunch of examples here. What the government has been doing lately, it's just depressing. It's sad. The founding fathers would literally be rolling in their graves right now if they saw some of the shit that's happening right now. Again, there is a very good reason why MAGA became a thing and why people like Trump exists. Because of all the shit that the government's been doing. Same exact reason why Trump supporters wave the Gadsden flag, in case you guys are wondering. But I'm going to go ahead and play you guys the video right here. This is the video of the officials at the school confronting this kid, Jaden, and his parents for having the Gadsden flag patch on his book bag. And let's go right ahead and see what they have to say.
Oh, here, hold on. Thank you.
Do they know what the Gadsden flag is? That it's a historical flag?
So there, the reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed, is due to its origins with
The Revolutionary
slavery and slave trade. That is what was, that is the reasoning behind why we do not want it displayed.
The Gadsden flag.
The Don't Tread on Me.
Okay. Which is the Gadsden flag.
Okay, that has got to be the most 1619 critical race theory newspeak hogwash that I have ever heard in my entire life. So apparently, this flag is not allowed to be flown due to its supposed quote-unquote origins of slavery and the slave trade, which, if you know anything about the history of the Gadsden flag, it's not based on slavery or the slave trade whatsoever. This is essentially the same idea the CRT cult love to throw on you when you fly the American flag or the Betsy Ross flag, because essentially, according to them, you're supporting slavery. They gaslight you into this. Now, yes, it did originate from a time in the United States where slavery was legal and regularly practiced, and Gadsden himself was in fact a slave owner. But you also have to consider most people in American society who were of any prominence at that point in time were all fucking slave owners. I mean, the founding fathers themselves owned slaves. Virtually every notable American and every notable person on this continent between, 1619 and 1864 were slave owners. And also, slave owners were all concentrated in the southern colonies, what is now the southern United States. All of the northern colonists denounced slavery and got rid of their slaves right when the American Revolution started, and the southerners still kept it. That's why you have this divide between North and South during the Civil War. It's the same reason why the North was free and the South was full of slaves. So by that definition, I guess we gotta go out and tear down Mount Rushmore, or we gotta take the founding fathers out of our history completely. All statues of Thomas Jefferson must be torn down. That famous painting of Washington crossing the Delaware should be burned. I mean, why would we ever want to do something like that? Oh, and you know who else were slave owners as well? Everybody in the Bible. So I guess we have to ban Christianity now. Christianity is evil because they were all slave owners, and American slave owners were all Christians too. This argument is just a critical race theory Marxist propaganda talking point that has been used so many times, and it just makes you look fucking ignorant in front of anybody who knows history too well. The first time the Gadsden Flag, or the Don't Tread on Me flag, was flown was aboard a ship called the USS Alfred on December of 1775 during the American Revolution. It was designed by a man named Christopher Gadsden, which is how the flag gets its name, the Gadsden Flag, who is the South Carolina delegate to the Continental Congress. He was also a general in the Continental Army, and he used his flag aboard the ship that he was personally on, and that was, of course, the USS Alfred. So it then became a symbol of unity for the 13 colonies at the start of the war. And ever since then, it has remained a political symbol for the United States. Benjamin Franklin even used it for his join or die woodcut in 1754. And the initial intention of that flag was supposed to be a warning to the British not to violate the liberties of the American patriots in the colonies. And fast forward to the 21st century, it is still the most common symbol in the United States for libertarianism and anti-government expression, and essentially basically saying as the government continues to hinder on people's rights, we must stand our ground for ourselves. It is not in any way a hate symbol. If it was a hate symbol or is a hate symbol, then it's hate towards tyranny, hate towards government and whatnot. It has nothing to do with slavery. It was never about, oh, don't take my rights away as being a slave owner or anything like that. Now, sure, it is true that people did eventually end up using it that way, especially during, the Civil War by the South and the Confederacy. And some people in the South did take that flag and try to repurpose its meaning. But no one has really ever historically associated with any of that shit, because that's not what it was ever intended for. And those people were a very minuscule of people using that flag historically. If anything, the Southerners always ended up using the Confederate Dixie flag as their heritage symbol. That is seen more as a slavery flag than the Gadsden flag ever will be.
Okay, so he's what's going to happen if he doesn't take it off?
He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I'm like, so I asked if can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class. I just want him to go back to class. The bag can't go back. It's got a patch on it because we can't have that in and around other kids. So that's what I was trying, and then he said you were close. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with slavery. That's the Revolutionary War patch that was displayed when they were fighting the British. That's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of the Confederate Confederate flag.
Okay, I am
Is there
just
history
here to
that you
enforce.
tell me?
No, I am here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district.
Okay.
Okay, and also, it has already gotten to the point that the ACLU, of all people, have said that he's allowed to the First Amendment. He's allowed to express, like, you literally have the right to self-expression. You have the right to free speech. These are fundamentally protected liberties in our country and in our Constitution. This kid, Jaden, should have every single goddamn fucking right under the Constitution to have a Gadsden flag on his book bag. And we know from several Supreme Court rulings that your constitutional rights do not end the moment you walk into a school. A famous example of this was Tinker versus Des Moines, which involved a group of students in Iowa who wore black armbands to school as a form of protest against the Vietnam War. The school district responded by adopting like a policy that prohibited the wearing of such armbands, and the courts ruled in favor for the kids and accused the school of violating their freedom of speech and the First Amendment. So, if the school is not allowed to discriminate kids against their freedom of speech, that also should apply to that school, the Vanguard School, as well. This kid is an American. He is an American citizen. He was born and raised in this country, and he deserves to have those rights, even if he's at a school. And here's the funny thing, because the person who is sitting in this video, like one of the school faculty members, and some of the teachers who reported him to begin with, it is a goddamn shame that here in this country, here in this modern American society, the people who are the ones educating your kids aren't even aware of what the most symbolic pieces of American history means and the fundamental principles of this nation's founding. This is why they're getting away with teaching kids about critical race theory and all this other garbage. If you don't know pretty much anything about history, it's very easy to manipulate and change it. That's why this kid's in this fucking situation to begin with. The wrong ideas being taught about this country in American society is the reason why this debacle happened to begin with. The people educating the children in our country aren't even aware of one of the first symbolic American flags and the most important flag in American history. And of course, the legacy media are to blame for this as well, because with the propaganda that they've been pushing about this flag too. How the goddamn fuck does that even make sense? At this point, I guess, we'll have to enforce the policies of the school, so school districts can issue an outright ban on all patches at this point. Either all of them are okay, or none of them are okay. Now, I know I'm going to come out rude for saying this, and I will mention it again later in this video, but I really have to imagine this. If a kid walked into a school with like a pride flag patch on his book bag, I bet you fucking guarantee the school would not be saying a goddamn thing about it. And in my opinion, they shouldn't. If a kid wants to have an LGBTQ pride flag patch on his book bag, he should be allowed to. If a kid wants to have a Christian cross patch on his book bag, he should be allowed to. If a kid wants to have, a Gadsden Flag patch on his book bag, he should be allowed to. If he wants to have, the Betsy Ross flag on his book bag, he should be allowed to. Or an American flag patch on his book bag. Once again, your First Amendment rights should not stop the moment you walk into the goddamn school. That is fucking ridiculous to assume, and for a school district to try to enforce this for really no particular reason whatsoever is absolutely authoritarian, to say the least. Just like I said, you are literally proving the Gadsden Flag's fucking point right here.
And definitely, you have every right to not agree with it. I mean,
because the
absolutely.
ACLU says that he's allowed to wear that. If you go on their website, it's says in big letters.
All I'm saying is that
unless there's a ban on patches, period. Like if you said there's no patches allowed at the school, you cannot display what you think or anything like that, or what cheer or anything like that. I think it's one-sided, because you allow some patches, but not other patches.
Kids have patches like other names and the American flag on their backpacks.
Yeah.
Alright, now, Jaden here claims that other kids are walking around the school with patches on their book bag. I mean, even like the American flag patches, or even with their own names on them. Why does he have to be the target just because he has a Gadsden flag on his book bag? Again, just like what I said, it's either all of them are okay or none of them are okay. Like if kids can walk around with patches of their names like Natalia or Alejandro on their book bags, the kid should be allowed to walk around with a Gadsden flag patch on his book bag. However, at the same time, I would also genuinely and fully understand if the school is like, hey, you can't have, the ISIS flag on your book bag, or like the Nazi flag, or the swastika on your book bag, or the Soviet Union flag with the hammer and sickle. That would make sense. I would get by with that. These groups are horrible people and cause legitimate and actual terror and harm, and are responsible for the murders of millions of innocent people, and are actually like killing people in the real world, and have been doing so for quite some time. People flying the Gadsden flag, the vast majority of them are just simple, normal Americans living their day-to-day lives who just want more personal freedom and more liberty and just want less government. They're libertarians essentially. So they just fly the Gadsden flag to show what they believe, showing off their libertarianism. That does not make them bad people. That does not make them goddamn terrorists. That does not make them fucking dangerous to society or make them evil or extremist in any way, shape, or form. Now, of course, this video, this whole situation, I weighed in, and a lot of people and independent commentators were all talking about this video and already showing their 2 cents because it has already gone so viral. And there are a lot of people defending this kid. Again, even the ACLU and their Democratic governor of the state are defending this kid. And of course, instantaneously, some of these leftoids on the internet and some of these commentators and even some normal people, some, average Joes who are talking to me and wanting me to cover this story, there are some people out there who just started jumping to just these random defenses of the school district, and some are even agreeing with their decision. Now, the reason for that, the reason why people have been giving me and a ton of these independent commentators and are essentially agreeing with the school board, the reason why there are some people who are agreeing and saying that the kid is not allowed to have a Gadsden flag on his book bag is apparently a couple of far-right and alt-right groups have now co-opted the Gadsden flag and are flying it. It's essentially the same thing that happened to Pepe the Frog, or even up in Canada with the Canadian Red Ensign. The Canadian Red Ensign is essentially the Canadian Gadsden flag, if you know what I mean. Flown by the same type of people, and is viewed with the same connotation as the Gadsden flag down here. Now, just like with the Canadian Red Ensign, some of these far-right groups and alt-right groups include people who stormed the Capitol building during January 6th. Both flags were seen during January 6th. And we all know what happened. They just kind of broke into the Capitol building, broke some things, smashed some windows, tried to, supposedly overturn the election and a few other things, which, I didn't necessarily agree with, as well as even the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. The Gadsden flag was prevalent there. We've got a bunch of white supremacists and neo-Nazis that wreaked havoc on the city and ran over a bunch of people by stealing a Dodge Challenger and just ramming straight through people and into a building. Again, I didn't agree with any of this when that whole thing happened. I don't necessarily agree with the January 6th situation. I thought it was fucking ridiculous. I thought it was a complete overstep, but that's my right as an American to believe that, even though I did believe that there was a little bit of monkey business going on, but I still disagree with January 6th. Same thing with Charlottesville. As an American, I condemn the neo-Nazis who committed all this chaos in the city as it was happening, and I, as an American, can say that as well. I know a lot of people are on the same page with me when I say that those two incidences were wrong. But at the same time, despite the fact that the Gadsden flag was seen in both of these incidents, that doesn't mean the Gadsden flag is a bad flag, flown by bad people. Same with the Canadian Red Ensign, which was also spotted in January 6. Ironically enough, come to think of it. So yeah, I digress that a couple of bad people apparently now use the Gadsden flag, by these certain patriot groups, which is literally what they label them as in this clip, and by the people defending the school. Patriot groups use it, so you're not allowed to use it. Okay then, so by that logic, let's just say that Patriot Front, or the Oath Keepers, or Vanguard America, or even the brown shirts and the black blocs, let's say like a left-wing group, some political movement, far left or far right, associated loosely with civil disobedience, rioting, looting, hate towards specific groups, domestic terrorism, and whatnot, appropriates the picture of, I don't know, let's say the maple leaf. Let's use that as an example. Let's say a group similar to the Patriot Front or similar to the Brown Shirts decides to create a new squad and they use the maple leaf as their emblem. Yeah, we're the Maple Leaf Squad. We're gonna show these marginalized people who's boss. Let's go commit all these attacks and lynchings and shit like that, or throw Molotovs on civilians and burn down all these businesses like the Tulsa Massacre or something along those lines. It's something cringe or something hateful. So they use the flag of Canada to, I guess, denote their terroristic group or something like that. Because of that reason alone, are you saying that a kid, couldn't sew a patch of the flag of Canada onto their book bag? I don't think so. I don't think you can do that. Just because in this hypothetical example that a hate group of some sort uses the flag of Canada as their official symbol doesn't mean the flag of Canada is now officially a hate symbol and that people waving that flag makes them bad and evil people. Again, using the other example that I made earlier, what if it was, again, the pride flag? The current rendition of the pride flag, the new and improved LGBTQ flag with the black and brown and trans color triangle on the hoist side, which also has connotations literally with BLM. Far left extremists have been using that flag as well. I mean, in more recent years, it has ties to Marxism in the more literal sense. It has ties to multiple riots and domestic terrorism and, street fighting and burning down churches and smashing windows and destroying black-owned businesses, as well as killing and dismantling police departments. But it would still probably be allowed now, wouldn't it? And again, I would be okay with it. Much like with the Gadsden flag, that's only a small 1% of people that use the flag for violent antics. What if he had the Betsy Ross flag? Leftist groups are now saying that that's a hate symbol because it's tied with slavery and things like that. Or even the American flag with 50 stars. A lot of leftoids are saying that that's associated with slavery and colonialism and genocide of natives and imperialism. What about the French flag even? Le bleu, blanc, rouge. The French colonized most of Africa. Stealing lands from the natives, ground people down. Like, there's already a knee-jerk reaction right now in countries like Mali and Burkina Faso, and now Niger and Gabon because of French colonialism. Or at least that's how they're presenting it. What about the Union Jack? The British colonized a third of the world's surface at their peak. English is an official language in about 60 countries. Well, that's a lot of colonialism over 1 billion people under their oppression and tyranny. I mean, you see what I mean here, right? Jaden here has done nothing wrong. The fact that he was suspended from class for having the Gadsden flag on his book bag is monumentally stupid. And again, every independent commentator is defending this kid. Pretty much everybody's defending this kid. When you have not just the ACLU, but when you have the Democratic governor of the state directly weighing in on this issue, you know that you have really done fucked up. And I hope that a First Amendment lawsuit goes forth here. He and his mother should definitely sue the fucking school. Your rights were clearly and blatantly violated to the point where even the liberal far-left governor of your state, the anti-gun, pro-CRT, pro-1619, psilocybin supporting, goddamn weed-smoking, hippie-trippy governor of your state is taking up this case. This is a social issue because it's become so viral and has become just so tedious. And in case you guys are wondering what the governor said, here's what he said on Twitter. The Gadsden flag is a proud symbol of the American Revolution and an iconic warning to Britain or any government not to violate the liberties of Americans. Well, that sounds pretty uncharacteristic for him. Knowing what he believes and knowing who he is, he must sense, he must be a shark sensing the blood in the water right now. And he's like, well, this can be good for my polling. All these people are, they're kind of on the fence and they're like, well, Polis is really, really far left. He's kind of woke. He leans far left on a lot of issues. Oh, I bet people are gonna make love this. They'll have a field day with this. They'll love me if I say this. Probably as an opportunist, most likely. It appears on popular American medallions and challenge coins through today, and Ben Franklin also adopted it to symbolize the union of the 13 colonies. Yes, just like what we mentioned earlier, the join or die image. Early revolutionary propaganda depicting the states as a snake and its 13 separate parts uniting in order to fight the British threat. It's a great teaching moment for a history lesson. When reached for comment by Reason, Paulus reaffirmed his comment and noted that he also agreed with the sentiments expressed by Representative Ted Lieu of Hawaii. Probably the most far left and the most woke liberal in all of Congress, even hailing from literally one of the most woke states in the entire union. Let's see what he has to say. I oppose banning the Gadsden flag in schools for the same reason I oppose conservative school districts that ban LGBTQ flags in schools. This right here is exactly what I agree with. If people want to put flag patches on their book bag, as long as it's appropriate, they should be allowed to at school. I mean, fuck me, man. I don't know. We're literally getting, literally the most liberal people are actually being consistent on this issue. Again, another reason why you know that this video went a hella fucking viral. Let kids be their authentic selves and give them a world of information. Students can figure out what's important to them. That's exactly my feeling. This whole tweet I agree with. Thank you, Ted. I'm agreeing with Ted Lieu. Not only I'm agreeing with the ACLU, not only I'm agreeing with Jared Polis, but I'm also agreeing with Ted Lieu, who is arguably further left than Jared Polis. The fucking Democrats are dogpiling the school district here. The goddamn liberals. I can understand why Republicans and conservatives would, I guess, look at this and say, no, you fucking morons, it has nothing to do with slavery. Okay, yeah, groups were using the Gadsden flag through a time in which U.S. slavery still existed and was legal, including the Revolutionary period. But who cares? It has nothing to do with that. And we also understand that alt-right and far-right groups use this flag too, but that doesn't mean people who use it are bad people or that the flag is racist and evil. It's a Revolutionary War symbol. Quite literally, it's actually a symbol of unity, to be frank. The Gadsden flag nowadays has been mainly appropriated by libertarians, the whole don't tread on me messaging, and the whole symbolism targeting government tyranny and whatnot. The whole don't tread on me messaging and wording was effectively telling the tyrannical government of Britain, look, you're not giving us representation, you're taxing us up the ass, you're also trying to take away our freedom of speech and our freedom of expression just for complaining about you guys taxing us, and now you're also trying to disarm us and take away our guns when we were attacked on all sides by indigenous people that later on will be given freebies and support to later on in history. Enough is enough. We are declaring our independence from you. Fuck you. Why don't you just go fuck off and leave us alone? We are declaring our independence and we are declaring ourselves to become a free, sovereign, and independent nation because we can pretty much manage our own things over here on our own. Don't really need London to do it for us. The whole purpose of the Gadsden flag has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with slavery, and the flag is not racist. It does not mean white supremacy, despite the fact that yes, there are some neo-Nazi groups that use it, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person for using it, and it doesn't mean the flag is a neo-Nazi flag. And Jared Polis goddamn understands this. When I first watched this video and I read through this, I was literally cracking up because again, just look at this video. You got this kid who is well-groomed kid, looks well-behaved, well cared for, definitely looks like a smart, gifted kid. He clearly knows more about history than his teachers do. And they're removing him from class and calling his parent over and lecturing him and saying that he's wrong for what he did, basically insinuating that he's a bad person or that he's supporting slavery or that he's a racist or something because of a fucking Gadsden flag patch on his book bag. You know what? Here's an idea. Now that this video has become extremely viral and people now know about this kid and he's being defended, he should go to school the next day with a Gadsden flag shirt and waving a Gadsden flag in hand with 5 Gadsden flag patches on his book bag and Gadsden flags on his shoes, maybe have a Gadsden flag bracelet on, or even a Gadsden flag hat, that is, if you're allowed to bring hats. Like, he should literally cover himself with nothing but Gadsden flags, and might as well wave 2 Gadsden flags in hands while in the process, and maybe even give some of his classmates like little mini Gadsden flags if he can, and if he's able to. You get a Gadsden flag. You get a Gadsden flag. You get a Gadsden flag. Everybody gets a Gadsden flag. Be like the Oprah of Gadsden flags. Bring 2 Gadsden flags that you can wave. Cover yourself with nothing but Gadsden flag insignia. And if you're able to, give everybody like mini Gadsden flags so that way they can wave it around too. And then, while he's doing that, he should say, look, the governor supports me. Virtually everybody is defending me and has my back. And I think we're probably gonna have to sue you, so you might as well leave me alone. That right there would be a badass move. Jaden right here just took a major W. He has literally become the ultimate chat of the school now. Because of this, he's going to be the most popular kid in school walking the halls, and everybody's gonna instantly know who he is. He's probably gonna gain a shit ton of followers on like TikTok or Instagram from some of his classmates, and everybody's gonna recognize him immediately. So congratulations to you, Jaden. May God bless you and your wonderful family, good sir. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description below. Share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, and helps grow the channel if you share this video with whomever you know. Don't forget to leave all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, as I always end the conversation down to you. Do you think Jaden's a Chad? Is the school wrong for what they did? Do you agree with the school's decision? Again, as I end the conversation down to you, don't forget to leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. You can also send me some feedback there if you like. I really don't have that much else to say besides, Jaden, stay strong, and I hope you sue the hell out of that school for how they treated you after that. We all have your back, but anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.